Welcome to the Digital Hoofprint Podcast, where brands mean what they say, culture is designed to deliver, and the leaders, well, they give a damn about being different. Each week, I talk brand, culture, and creativity with founders, leaders, entrepreneurs, and makers who are building what they believe in. I'm your host, Abriana Johnson, and this show will give you a glimpse into how leaders align their brand and culture for sustainable growth. Your brand promise is only as strong as your ability to deliver it. So let's get into it. Today's guest is John Berry, the CEO of Smart Equine, formerly known as Smartpak, and a seasoned leader in equine wellness and consumer goods strategy. Since stepping into the helm in January 2023, John has guided the rebrand from Smartpak to Smart Equine with a resounding purpose: to honor the company's legacy of science-backed innovation while deeply listening to the equestrian community's needs. Under his leadership, Smart Equine has foregrounded its one-of-a-kind mission, emphasizing tailored health and wellness for every horse by blending rigorous veterinary research with practical horsemanship and over 25 years of customer insights. Beyond strategic branding, John has prioritized real-world solutions. Just this month, Smart Equine launched Easy Pouches, pre-measured sustainable supplement packets designed to streamline daily routines at the barn while reducing plastic waste. In today's conversation, you'll hear how John balances legacy with innovation, while culture-driven branding is non-negotiable, and how product moves like Easy Pouches reflect a relentless commitment to both horse and rider. Get ready to gain insight in how leadership anchored in empathy, expertise, and intention can redefine an entire category. Welcome to the Digital Hoofprint Podcast, John. I'm so happy to have you.
It's good to be here. Thanks for having me.
Of course. So this rebrand came with two distinct messaging changes that I saw. You changed the company's name change from Smartpak to Smart Equine. And then the tagline change from Healthy Horses, Happy Riders to Built for Your One-of-a-Kind Horse. Can you tell me what was the catalyst for shifting Smartpak to Smart Equine, and how did you know that a rebrand was necessary?
Yeah, it's a great question. Well, and we're proud of the work we've done, certainly. We dug deep into the data and we talked to our customers, and really, that shift to Smart Equine was ultimately about clarity and focus. And we found that over time, Smartpak had evolved into something much broader than its original roots. And we felt that really to truly recognize the greater horse community with the true depth of expertise that we had, we needed a shift that matched this mission, which was really to deliver one-of-a-kind health and wellness solutions for every unique horse, and this was key. And so this rebranding, along with this new tagline, as you point out, one of a kind, it's truly more than a new look. It's really our continued promise to put horse health first with every formula, which we think reflects the care, expertise, and the passion that really remain at the heart of what we do. And so, stepping back, Smart Equine really allowed us to fulfill kind of our leadership position in equine health and wellness, that reaffirms horse health first. And we're committed to that every day.
I love that. You speak about the data that you were looking at. How did the team at Smart Equine influence that rebrand? Was it data that they were bringing to you? Was it a trend over time? How did those things go hand in hand?
It's a great question, Brianna. We looked we talked to consumers all across the U.S. In different, regions and with disciplines. And certainly, our team internally here has always been made up of people who live and breathe horses, as you can imagine, from veterinarians and trainers. We've got lifelong riders and barn managers. And really there's a shared belief here that we're eternal students of the horse. And so that mindset was a real driving force behind the brand. And we wanted that brand to really reflect the same integrity and passion and curiosity that define our internal culture.
Mm-hmm.
And it was comfortable for us because the more we talked about who we are and where we were headed, the clearer it became that really that identity needed to evolve to reflect the internal commitment that we share here. Um, it's a fascinating business, as you know, and in market at large. And we're just so passionate about doing good things for people and the care of horse health that just emits into our ethos and our DNA every day here.
Yeah, I love that. I noticed something different on your website. You now have the leadership team up there. Maybe over the last 6 months or so, the leadership team is very transparent in their background and what their belief is or their passion is for helping develop one of a kind horses and one of a kind wellness solutions for them. So that was a very interesting thing to see that transparency and make and putting the team forward.
Yeah, and I just think doing good work, whatever the discipline, and how we show up is so important. And I try to lead by example here, and it really does start at the top, and it cares deeply, and it's certainly all around integrity, but you really just want to have fun, galvanize behind a mission, and be really clear on that, and that kind of can that flywheel of being focused on bringing value to consumers, being good to each other along the way, and trying to have a few high fives, is kind of a mix that I lead with every day, and it's kind of how I see our growth really drafting off of like clarity of what we're doing, being good to one another, really listening to our customers, and you can do really good work if you tie all that together.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Well, I think that there is a lot when you think of the business landscape, let's take a step above the horse world. Um, when you think about keeping up with the market or keeping up with the industry and the pressures that AI and global economic tensions are putting on manufacturers worldwide, how do you make sure that your rebrand is like rooted in the culture of your organization and not just pressure coming from the market?
Yes, yeah, awesome question. I mean, I think, that was one of our guiding principles when we started this work. This couldn't just be about, aesthetics or chasing trends. And it wasn't just about like a new name or a new look. Uh, I believe we believe that from the beginning, we looked at this rebrand as a way to realign our external identity with this internal mission that I mentioned.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not just a new name. It's really, I call it like a reflection of our deep expertise,
Yeah.
this commitment, in fact, to science-backed solutions, and above all, our love and care for horses. I mean, every decision that we are making, messaging, visuals, just those nuances and voice, all that is really deeply anchored in our purpose.
Mm-hmm.
And it has to
Yeah.
tie together. Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, I love that you bring forth the purpose and the intention. A lot of times rebrands just come with a lot of fancy visuals and the visuals or the logo of Smart Equine, it didn't change very much.
Yeah. Now we held true to our lockup, stayed very much the same. We
Yeah.
we didn't want to drift too far away, and so we're very proud of the Smartpak brand. It's certainly as a name in the marketplace, but we've lifted it a little bit more. We care so deeply about health and wellness. There's a lot of addressable places we can play to help horse owners,
Mm-hmm.
and I think that's what we're really seeking to do is to take our leadership and push it beyond just the boundaries of where we are today, which is certainly supplement leadership, and really lifting that. And we found that despite so many folks knowing SmartPak, there's a ton of the U.S. equine population that had not ever heard of SmartPak, believe it or not.
Mm-hmm.
And that was interesting to us. And then there's a lot of regional orientation to the business. And so we thought to bring our very best to the marketplace, let's push ourselves, let's lift ourselves and introduce ourselves to a good part of the market, authentically with very authentic intention,
Mm-hmm.
and not getting ahead of ourselves either. So it was an easy shift. We went from SmartPak with the horse lockup to Smart Equine. same lockup.
Mm-hmm.
And so we felt for those customers that we currently serve and we adore, it was not a hard migration for them to make with us.
Yeah, I love to hear that. So, what role did the employees, maybe not just the leadership team, but your employees and your community play in shaping that brand? Or were there any surprises that came up during the process of you doing interviews, collecting data, and seeing what direction to go in next?
Yeah, I mean, I would say, first of all, our employees and the customers were definitely at the heart of this process. You need to ask good questions, and I think any good strategic shift requires, listening intently around, what people are thinking about when you do this work. And so our people were at the heart of this process. And as I said, we're fortunate to have a truly, hugely knowledgeable community and one thing that stood out for me when we were doing this work was just how much people value that combination, of our expertise and commitment
Hmm.
to delivering on the unique, needs of every horse, in our focus on science-backed solutions in everything we do. And really, they trust us not just because our products work, but because they know we genuinely care. And there's the word I continue to use over and over and over. We really care. We care deeply. And so that feedback, I say it affirmed our direction and really gave us the permission to lean into this, the blend of research driven solutions and true passions for horse health. It all ties nicely together.
Yeah.
So it's been a fun process. It really has been.
Yeah, it's always nice when change is fun, right?
Yeah, it's busy for sure, but we're enjoying it, and I think that is it's always stimulating when there's purpose behind the brand, the marketplace, and you're just passionate about what you're doing, with deep amount of care. You tie that all together, and it gives us great purpose and great energy, I feel.
Good, good. Were there any challenges that you all faced going into this change and more honed in and intentional direction?
Yeah, I think we found a number of challenges, and some of that was just getting everyone aligned on the strategic direction and making sure that we were being inclusive. But I look back on where we are today. I think we landed in a good place.
Mhm.
We've made a migration in some of the focused on the riding apparel stuff, which we've de-emphasized a bit in our strategic move. So that was an adjustment we had to make and communicate back and forth and reaffirm to our customers that, we're making this shift because we care so deeply. We're putting energy into this part of the business. It means letting go a little bit of our emphasis on fashion cycles and, apparel and wear and gear. But we'll still have a good curation of some of that stuff, but really our energy is moving to horse health. That's what the strategy is pointing to. We think we can play best there, bring the most value there, and have fun with that part of the business.
Yeah, yeah. Part of branding and strategic shifts are saying what you will do and also what you won't do. So it's really cool to see that de-emphasis for in service of higher emphasis on horse health and wellness.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
One of the things that stood out to me also was, I know your reputation for customer service and customer experience. And I believe that one of the ways that you are increasing your commitment to service is having this like text a expert. You make it so much more easy for someone to figure out what their horse needs, what they need to order, how they need to order it. Can you talk a little bit about how you've reimagined that experience to reflect the new direction?
Yeah, I mean, it's foundational. I'm so glad you brought it up. I mean, as you may know, I think our customers truly admire and value our customer care. I mean, that the reputation we have in the market, it's something we're incredibly proud of, and I'd say, we're fiercely protective of as well. With Smart Equine, we're enriching that engagement with customer, and so we've actually, expanded the work that we're doing in our customer care, with, additional educational content. We have more focus on proactive horse health, and we've invested in making that customer care support team even more knowledgeable. And so, like, whether you're a first-time horse owner or a seasoned pro, the bottom line is we want every interaction with that team to feel like you're talking to a trusted friend, and many of whom have, degrees in nutrition. I think the enablement on technology is just another way and another mechanism for us to bring our very best to customers. Um, but Abriana, if you spent a day with our customer care team and you just listened to the conversations, it is honestly one of the most beautiful sort of exchanges in commerce you could find, because people show up every day with, like, the word care in their forehead. That's like how they start. They lead with this deep, deep amount of authentic care to do the right thing and bring the very best solutions they can. The use of technology is something we're looking at every day. That's another enablement. But we're putting a lot of investment now behind the customer care in this way, so that we're just strengthening, that flywheel, making it fast, accurate, and engaging for all of our customers to continue to enjoy those relationships, that relationship with that team.
I love that. I love that. And I feel like that is a characteristic of horse people in general, right? When we're doing something for these animals that we are so passionate about, I would say animal health at large, but horse people are special. and
Indeed.
and they care deeply about, not only the animal but their investment in these animals that provide leisure and professional fulfillment.
The ethos of horse care, as you would not be surprised, it emits across this business. I mean, so I'd say, everyone in this business has a relationship with a horse in some way beyond just what we do as Smart Equine.
Mhm.
And so it's a really fun environment because of it. So the language every day, as you'd expect, but that is in finance. It's in our accounting teams. It's in our operations. We have people that are really into the discipline, beyond the day job. And so I think that's a real specialness of what we are. And we haven't lost our way at all with this rebrand. I
Yeah.
think it's just been strengthened in many ways. Super proud of it.
Oh, good, good. Well, now that the rebrand has launched and on this podcast, I am really just interested in where brand and culture intersect and how they play together and how they align with one another. How do you all measure your alignment between the brand promise that you're putting out into the world and the everyday culture that your team is experiencing?
It's a great question. Well, I think first of all, we're checking in constantly, with our customers and with our teams. Like internally, we're listening to how our employees are talking about our brand, and truly how empowered they feel, in their roles, whether, our core values are showing up in everyday actions. I think externally, we're monitoring how our customers are receiving these changes. We're trying really, really hard to listen and engage with them in authentic ways. And so we have a really very proficient sort of social media outreach that is trying to, absorb and authentically respond back as best we can.
Yeah.
But I think, the most important measure of alignment is, when someone interacts with Smart Equine, on the phone, on our website, or in the barn, that they feel like the same combination of knowledge and care, that kind of commit, that in everything we do, and that's sort of
Yeah.
our commitment. I call it the flywheel, inside, outside, making sure that brand promise, as you mentioned, emits throughout, how we show up with customers in everything we do. And I feel we're focused on making that happen. We hope we continue to earn the trust in our customers for years to come, because we really do care deeply about doing good work.
Awesome. One of the things that is my like fondest memory, I feel like the word Smartpak is kind of like the word Google, where that it was just created, but my connection to that is the sound. of ripping one, ripping the back off of one and dumping it into a bucket. Yes, that.
Exactly. Here you go. Right, ripping it. Yeah, exactly that sound. It's a strip, right? It's very
Yes.
iconic, is it not? Yeah.
Yes, yes. And so, is there anything changing with how you are delivering those products?
Well, it's funny you should ask. And stay tuned. We are super, super excited to, be bringing new form innovation to the market, and we'll be talking about that in the months to come. Because again, we've listened to, we have some super exciting, new delivery systems that will be more sustainable, we think, easier to use. Again, this is all just listening to customers, their experiences and trying to do the very best we can. So it's a great segue to stay tuned. We're very close to about to launch a whole bunch of new exciting things next month.
Wow. Well, I am so excited to hear that. We got the download right here on the
Good.
Digital Print Podcast.
Well, yeah, and look at it's fun, in the portfolio. We've grown up with so many great, brands and sub brands. My goal coming into this is to make it easier for consumers and shoppers and on and offline to find the brand at different locations. We are of course heavy into direct to consumer, and we've met the consumer. We've built our relationship with her online, and yet we look at where customers are shopping, and there are many other outlets. And so part of the strategic shift for us, Brianna, is to meet this customer. And so you'll find us today at places like Dover Saddlery and Valley Vet. We are now on Tractor Supply, and it's really exciting to build our omni-commerce strategy. We're out in barns, as you know, deeply committed to equine vets. So we're really trying to surround the customer with a consistency of our brands,
Mhm.
beyond just our direct to consumer. Um, so that's the work in front of us. That's where we've been migrating to with this rebrand and the strategic shift. It's been a lot of fun. So customers can enjoy, can find Smart Equine now,
Yeah.
in many different
Anywhere.
distribution points. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I feel like that lends, its own challenges with just operations and how you get everywhere. How does that change the work a little bit?
Well, I think the the customer obsession doesn't change. We're just squarely whether we purchase an item, off the shelf in a Tractor Supply or directly from our customer care. I mean, our commitment to the customer is the same. We want the very best always, and we will always do the right thing, looking ahead down the road around the corner, and increasingly spending lots of additional resources to bring the very best on form technology and formulas.
Right.
But it has changed certainly, the way we go to market. So, today we have a larger sales organization that's out engaging with different retailers, if you will,
Mhm.
and a sales support system that's in concert with those relationships.
Right.
We built a lot of technology and an enablement here in Plymouth, Massachusetts, to really be very responsive so we can ship to customers quickly. We learned a few years ago during the pandemic that we had really lost a little bit of our trust in getting products and services to customers in a timely, predictable way. So we've been very, very focused in making sure that that never happens again, and that we are always on time and every PO is always delivered, as an example. So really building a lot more of infrastructure and muscle, reaffirming, those important capabilities that we need to meet the customer in these new channels.
Yeah.
So for us, it's a new place. We do it alongside strengthening, our own experience with customers, our new, direct to consumer site. But it's
I
been
love
fun.
Interesting. I love that. Is there anything else that you would like to share about this rebrand and the work that you all are doing in the future?
No, I mean, it's exciting. It's really fun. I feel, very privileged to be here and looking after this shift. We have a great team. It's an awesome community, and I'm always humbled and reminded, that, horses are, really remarkable and, one of a kind animals, we say, and the people that care for them, they really deserve, products in a brand that meets that same standard. And so I continue to tell the story that, we're not just a business, that we are committed to showing up with purpose, science, and soul every single day. And, for folks that don't know us, if you're out there trying to do right by your horse, I know that we see you. We're with you. We're building this whole thing for you. And we're proud of the 25 years that we've had behind us. And we hope to continue to earn the trust of the market going forward, and really continue to drive leadership to bring the very best, to the community.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for spending some time with me today on the Digital Footprint Podcast. And we look forward to seeing what is next for Smart Equine.
Well, thank you for having me, Brianna. I appreciate the time very much.
If this conversation gave you something to think about, or even better, something to act on, do me a favor, follow the show wherever you listen, leave a review, and share this episode with someone who's building something that matters. The Digital Hoofprint Podcast is powered by Black Unicorn Creative, a creative consultancy where we help leaders align brand and culture by design, not default. Your support helps me keep these conversations going. I'll see you next time.